Roughly a year ago, I reviewed the Sony Xperia Z Ultra, and I wasn't all that impressed. So why did I buy one a few weeks ago? I'm Taylor Martin, this is Pocketnow, and this is why, 1 year later, I'm actually happy with the Z Ultra. A few weeks ago, I picked up the Google Play Edition Z Ultra by Sony. Yeah, I know, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I reviewed its next of kin, the Xperia Z Ultra, about a year ago, and let's just say it wasn't the best phone I'd ever reviewed. It was plagued with issues, namely touchscreen sensitivity problems. It wasn't running the latest firmware either, because it wasn't available for that specific model yet, meaning it was missing the X-Reality engine, the software to make the display really pop. And worst of all, it was the international model, which did get HSPA Plus on AT&T and T-Mobile, but switched to Edge the majority of the time I used it. In other words, I had to carry the biggest smartphone on the market around for roughly 1 week. It barely fit in my pocket, was stuck on 2G most of the time, and my scrolls were mistaken for taps, or vice versa. It's difficult to express exactly how frustrating it is to try to get an honest opinion on a smartphone when it only works a fraction of the time and takes 5 minutes or so to refresh Facebook. Needless to say, my experience with the Xperia Z Ultra was far from favorable, and I never felt like we had a fair chance together. I've never felt like that about any other phone I've ever reviewed. No other time have I hit publish on a review and immediately wanted another week to make sure everything I said was accurate. And for the record, I never second guessed what I said about the Xperia Z Ultra. I just didn't want it to be true. I wanted to like the phone, but in those conditions, it was never going to happen. For starters, I've never been a fan of Sony's custom software. It's never brought much to the table and it's not all that pretty. It's just kind of there, not great and not terrible. And it was a missed opportunity on the Z Ultra, an opportunity to put true tablet software on a smartphone. Sony dropped the ball and reused its small apps feature, a half measure at best. The entire time I was reviewing the Z Ultra, I was thinking, this thing would be so much better with stock Android. And I know we say that a lot outside reviews, but it's especially true with the Z Ultra. The hardware was great, some of the best at the time, and so few versions of Android run as smoothly as stock. The Z Ultra's Snapdragon 800 and 6.4-inch 1080p display were begging to be set free. That's why, as soon as the Google Play Edition Z Ultra was announced just a few months later, I had to talk myself out of buying one. At $650 plus tax and shipping, the price simply wasn't right. I talked myself out of it again when Google slashed $200 off the original price tag. I'm not usually the type to buy an already aged phone, but when the third-party retailer Expansis started selling the Z Ultra with a case and screen protector for just $350, I couldn't say no anymore. I bought it because every time someone mentioned the phone, it reminded me of how much I wanted to like it before I reviewed it, and how tainted my review period was. I bought it because I remembered how it's a better fit for the dash of my car than the Nexus 7. I bought it because over the last 12 months, it's aged really well. The Snapdragon 800, 2GB of RAM, and 3050 mAh battery are more than enough. So far, I've been very pleased. I don't regret buying it at all. And I was right from the start, it's so much better with stock Android on board. The only things I can't help but feel it's missing are true simultasking, a la Samsung's multi-window feature, and a better speaker. After using the M8 for so long, the Z Ultra speaker is a joke. But hey, water resistance, right? It's still ridiculously large and it barely fits in my pocket. It requires 2 hands to use at almost all times, and I still don't like the button and port placement. But I can live with all those because right now the Z Ultra fits my needs better than just about any other phone. I can install this in the dash of my car and still carry it as my daily driver, something I couldn't do with the Nexus 7. Gaming, watching movies, and reading are what it's built for, and I'm really going to appreciate that on my flight to Germany next week. And pulling a 6.4-inch phone out of your pocket always gets tons of questions, so there's that. Either way, I'm satisfied with my purchase, and I finally have that feeling of resolution after how last year's review ended. Folks, thanks for watching and supporting Pocketnow. If you enjoyed the video and would like to help us out even more, click the thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel. Follow us around the web, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+ at Pocketnow. I'm Taylor Martin. You can find me on Twitter at CasperTech, and I will see you next time.